Go.
We as the government think that we are wrong. We think that we are wrong today when we are saying, on the one hand, that something is allowed because it's part of your liberty. Then we say, on the other hand, it's not part of your liberty. We can put limitations on it. We can make you pay more for that because it hurts us. And we think that this double standard is ineffective and also wrong in principle, and that's what I'm going to get to in my arguments. So we think that we should abolish all sin taxes because we think that they all cause this double standard. I would have three arguments. The first would explain the double standards and its ineffectiveness. The second would explain the state duty to the liberty of people. And the third would explain the conflict of interest in the government when she puts sin taxes. So first, the double standard. We think that today, when the government says that something is banned, most of us consider it as wrong. When the government says that something is allowed, we consider it as, well, at least not bad, and for many times as a good thing. We can see it on many things that are morally relative. For example, when we say that you shouldn't commit adultery, then because the state says it, then many of us think that this is wrong. The same with Gilui Arayot.
Incest.
Whatever. That because the government says, because it's illegal, then people consider it wrong, even though in other societies you might not think this is as a bad thing. So we think that when you do these double standards, it gives an ineffective message to the thing that you're trying to say. For example, if we're talking about mostly cigarettes, fuel for transportations, and others. So if you say, on the one hand, you're allowed to smoke cigarettes because it's part of your freedom, yet we say, on the other hand, you hurt everybody around you and yourself and the government when you do that, then we say that the message is ineffective. We can see it, for example, with drugs and cigarettes. When we say drugs are banned, we see that the scale of drug users or drug using among our society is pretty low. When we say that cigarettes are allowed, then we have many people who are using cigarettes, even though the message we are trying to say in our campaigns is that this is a bad thing for you, and therefore those campaigns are ineffective. Yes?
Yeah, but even without the sin tax, we still say that cigarettes are bad, but we allow them, so there's still a double standard in society.
Didn't understand? Repeat.
Even without the sin tax, we still educate people that cigarettes are bad, but we still allow them, so there's still a double standard.
Oh, so we say the government should decide. Either cigarettes are bad or they're good. If they're good, allow it and leave me alone. But if they're bad, then ban it. If they hurt other people's liberties, then ban them totally. Okay, so the state duty. We think that it's the state duty to take care of the citizens' well-being. And we think that large part of this well-being is due to their freedom and due to their controlling their life and their autonomy and their ability to choose what they can do. And we think that it does occur when your liberty is in contradiction with another man's liberties, other men's liberties. And we think that in those cases the government should put a strict line and say you are not allowed to kill somebody because it hurts his liberties too much. Yet, if it doesn't hurt his liberties too much, they should allow you to do it no matter what. And therefore, we think that the state duty in this case is to be very clear and very concrete and to maximize your freedom as much as it can, as long as it doesn't hurt other people's liberties as much. If it hurts, they should ban you. If it doesn't hurt, they should allow you. And in every place in between, they should wait and see whether you should allow it and whether you should ban it. The third would be the interest to sin, and I think this would be the most practical point that I can talk about in my speech, because we think that if you talk about sin taxes, if you talk about cigarettes and you talk about fuel, then sin tax is a lot of money. If you say the bellow on the fuel or the tax you have on cigarettes, that means a lot of money for the government. And we think that a government that wants to serve her citizens is in a conflict of interest here. Because you have a pretty good incentive, a quite good incentive here to raise more money for the government. Because, well, governments always want money. I don't think the opposition would argue about that. But they want more money, whether it's the politicians or the parties or the government, because either Yair Lapid is on a crazy rush or something. But when they want more money, the easiest way to do it is to raise the sin taxes. To say, oh, they're the citizens who are doing something bad, we can raise the sin taxes on them. But what it also means that the government has an incentive to increase the scale of using, of sinning, actually. What it means that the state does have an interest not to do public transportation in order for people to use more fuel with their private cars. It means that the government has an incentive not to campaign effectively against cigarettes, because then you would have more people using cigarettes and thus more money for the government. And we think this conflict of interest is bad because it doesn't allow the government to serve the citizens and to take care for their well-being as they should. So what did I say in my speech? First of all, the double standard is ineffective because the message isn't clear. You're saying it's allowed, yet it's wrong, and thus you have either more people using it and thus more wrong, or some people not using it even though it's great. Second, I told you that the state duty is to maximize your liberty as long as you're not hurting others, but if you are hurting others in a sufficient way, they should ban you from doing it. You can't say it's half right or half wrong, it's either right or wrong. And third, the government here has an interest to cause more people to do more sins, and therefore it contradicts their principle of serving the citizens, and therefore we should ban all sin tax.